Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Freely Nourished podcast, the podcast that empowers you to break the cycle of dieting by teaching you to nourish your body well. My name is Erin. I am the owner and registered dietitian of New You Nutrition. And today I have a very special segment for you all about probably the nourishment I get the most questions about. So, if you have viewed any of my other content, you know that a lot of my kind of teaching and my philosophy surrounding nutrition involves balance and it involves working with our five main food groups. So that means, protein, starches, grains, fruits, vegetables, and dairy. So those are kind of our five main food groups. And largely what I do is teach clients how to balance their diet using those groups. And probably the area where a lot of people really struggle is that fruit and vegetable component. The way we live our lives is just very busy. And sometimes fruits and vegetables can be a little bit challenging to get in. So if that sounds like you, then keep listening. I've got some tips and tricks for you. And then if you want to take a deeper dive at the end of the episode, I will discuss a little bit more about some of my both present and upcoming course offerings to help you take kind of a deeper dive into these types of topics if you feel like that is something that you need. So here we go. So how to get your fruits and vegetables, right? I think it is no secret at all that fruits and vegetables are very important for our health. They're loaded with fiber, which is great for our digestive health. They can also help us to lower our cholesterol. It promotes bowel regularity as well as a healthy gut microbiome, which if you missed my last episode, it was all about the gut microbiome and kind of how important that is for our health. So shameless plug if you would like to learn more about that, that's in the last episode of the podcast. And then also fruits and vegetables are loaded with what are called micronutrients. So those are kind of the unsung heroes of the nutrition world. So when we think about our nutrition, we tend to think a lot of people track things like calories and macronutrients. So macronutrients are your protein, your carbohydrates, and your fat. And those are where your calories are coming from. So for each gram of protein, for example, you have 4 calories. For each gram of carbohydrate, you also have 4 calories. And then for each gram of fat, you get 9 calories. And to an extent, your body uses those macronutrients and then the calories that come from them in different ways. So we do talk a lot about that in the world of nutrition. I believe it was my first episode, and I can link it again in the notes. That talked a lot about kind of how to calculate those types of recommendations for yourself. That said, our micronutrients are just as important. So we call them macronutrients and micronutrients because macronutrients are needed in large quantities. So what that means is that we need an order of grams per day. How many grams will depend on the person, their calorie goals, and things like that. But by and large, macros are typically a percentage of your total calorie needs. And then we convert that into grams. So you need grams of protein, grams of carbohydrate, grams of fat. How many will vary person to person. And then that differs from micronutrients, which is where we need an order of milligrams or even in some cases micrograms. So much smaller amounts, but by no means does that mean that they are less important. They are just as important in our health, and fruits and vegetables in particular are loaded with them. So when we think of our micronutrients, we are talking primarily about vitamins and minerals. Some vitamins and minerals your body can kind of obtain from other food sources, but many your body actually needs to get in your diet. And your fruits and veggies in particular are loaded with them. I think one of my favorite kind of factoids, because I think a lot of people get kind of confused. There's a lot of, unfortunately, misinformation out there about fruits and vegetables and kind of which ones are good, which ones are bad, based on various things like sugar content, et cetera. And I want to be very clear and say that they are all good. Okay. That is number one. All fruits and all vegetables are good for you. All of them are going to have fiber. All of them are going to have micronutrients of some sort. That said, the micronutrients they contain may be slightly different. And that can get really complicated really fast. But that said, kind of an easy way to distinguish things is to think about colors. So if you remember back in elementary school, or even if you just heard somebody say, well, eat the rainbow, right? Like eat a variety of colors. There's actually science behind the reason for that. And the science is that the colored or pigmented molecules in a fruit and a vegetable, so what makes a carrot orange and an eggplant purple and spinach green, those are vitamins. So those are, and different colored vitamins, different vitamins have different colors. So, the vitamins in a carrot versus a potato versus an eggplant, they're all different vitamins. And that's why they're all different colors, because the vitamins actually are those pigmented molecules. So if you hear eat the rainbow, that is why. That said, the goal is just to get them in, right? And for a lot of us, that can be the struggle in and of itself. So what I recommend is trying to get, well, it's not just what I recommend, what the USDA recommends, as well as the ADA, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. The goal for most adults is 3 to 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day. Now, if you look at the plate graphic, it does have fruits and vegetables in separate categories. That said, they are so nutritionally similar that really you can aim for 3 to 5 of either, or a combination of the two. So that means you can get 3 servings of fruit and no vegetables. You can do 3 servings of vegetables and no fruit. And either way, it's kind of on track. And the goal for most adults, like I said, is 3 to 5 servings. That is going to vary, again, just kind of depending on who you are, and what your goals are, and what your calorie goal needs and things like that are. I also will kind of take a bit of an aside here and say that sometimes, even if the 3 to 5 servings is the recommendation or the goal, we need to start where you're at, right? So if you are someone who currently gets no fruits and vegetables, then even adding 1 per day could be hugely beneficial to you. And then we can kind of work our way up, add 1 per day for a few weeks. And then once that feels normal, then try to get 2 in per day for a few weeks, so on and so forth, just to try to get it in. You don't have to go right out of the gate with 5 per day if that's not natural to you. The goal is just to probably get more for most people. And the ultimate goal is somewhere between 3 and 5 servings every single day. How we go about doing that, right? So it can be really challenging. Fruits and vegetables, for some people, they're less palatable. So for some people, they just don't particularly care for them. But there's also the challenge that very often they need to be refrigerated, or particularly with vegetables, they need to be prepared, which involves chopping and cooking. And they're not always as easily accessible as, say, some other type of snack food, or even a meal. And certainly if you eat out very often, particularly if you eat a lot of fast food, sometimes they're just not there. There's just not the option. So I've got a couple of key tricks for you to kind of increase that fruit and vegetable intake, even if you're busy, even if you're on the go. My number one goal for people is probably the easiest way to get them in is to do it in a smoothie. Now, of course, a smoothie does take some work. You have to have a blender and you have to throw some components together. I will say now that in the freezer section at the grocery store, there are many kinds of different varieties of smoothie blends. So things that have, various types of fruit, as well as, spinach and kale and things like that. So you can certainly just pick one of those that you like. They're typically a little packet that you just dump into the blender with some milk or some water, and you blend it up and off you go. That said, smoothies are highly customizable too. I like to use frozen ingredients for my smoothies, and I like to use that for 2 reasons. One, they're available any time of year. 2, they're typically cheaper. And 3, they are just as nutritious, if not more nutritious than fresh fruits and vegetables. So very often we kind of hear this narrative that fresh is best, right? So that fresh fruits and vegetables are the best. Frankly, that is not true. I will say that my ranking of fruit and vegetables in terms of nutrient content would be frozen, fresh, then canned. That said, again, they are all good. Any of them that you can work into your diet is a great option. But frozen vegetables or frozen fruits and vegetables are typically picked and then blanched, which means that they are, processed almost immediately upon picking, and they maintain the majority of their nutrients as a result of that. For fresh vegetables, even though the name is almost somewhat deceiving, right? Because the fruit or vegetables picked from the plant, and then it starts to lose its nutrition because it starts to degrade from that moment forward. They don't go just to a processing plant and then they're processed within 24, 48 hours of picking. They are more likely, they go to a warehouse and then to a distributing center and then to the grocery store, and then they sit on the shelf for however long until you actually buy them. And then who knows how long it is until you actually eat it, right? So they've lost a lot of nutrition along the way. So I like to use, for smoothies in particular, I definitely like to use frozen fruits and vegetables. I think it, again, they're readily available all season long. They're typically a little bit cheaper. They're more nutritious, and I like the consistency. I think it makes it more of that creamy, almost like milkshake like consistency. I find that I don't need to add ice. I don't need to add yogurt. It's just kind of a very drinkable product from the get-go. You can also, you can add any kind of fruit that you want in your smoothie. You can get kind of whatever variety of mixed frozen fruits that you want. If you have fresh fruit, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I do like to add spinach into smoothies, and particularly if you are somebody who thinks you don't like vegetables, and you struggle to get vegetables. Adding spinach in a smoothie can be really, really great because it will turn the color of the smoothie green, but it will not taste green. I have never tasted spinach in a smoothie. Things like kale, or collard greens, or kind of anything that's a little bit heartier, those are great to add as well if you like them, but they will add a little bit more taste to it. So if you are somebody who just wants your smoothie to taste like fruit, but you want the benefit of a vegetable too, then add some spinach. Another way to kind of add your fruits and vegetables is just honestly to be intentional about them. So if you eat 3 meals per day, make sure that there is a fruit or a vegetable with all three of those meals. Again, typically in the morning, people, unless you're doing a smoothie, a lot of times people aren't doing vegetables in the morning, but fruit can complement many breakfast foods. So even if you were grabbing something like, I don't know, a frozen waffle or a bagel or a protein shake or a granola bar or something like that out the door, grab an apple, grab a banana, grab something that's quick and easy to carry with you. Lots of fruit can actually kind of withstand temperatures fairly well. So it does better in the long term. It stays fresher for longer if it's refrigerated, but it's not like lunch meat or cheese or something like that, that if it's left out, it's going to go bad. It won't. So, you can pack, things like berries or grapes or cherries or things like that along with you in either like a little to go container or a baggie, and just take that with you and kind of munch on it through your morning. It doesn't necessarily have to go in a fridge. And then vegetables most of us tend to eat more vegetables for lunch and dinner. Great options for that. Again, I'm going back to the frozen vegetables. They make those little frozen steamer bags now where you basically just put the veggies in the microwave for about 5 minutes or so, and poof, out pops perfectly steamed vegetables. Super quick, super easy. Obviously, season them up however you like. You can buy them plain and add your own seasoning, or there are many options now where there's kind of like a butter sauce or something along those lines on there as well. Either way is fine. Again, the goal is to get the vegetable in, not to condemn it based on any added sauce, cheese, flavoring, etc. So those are super easy and convenient. Another thing that can make for a very easy vegetable add is a salad. Again, now they make really great salad kits that you can buy that kind of have multiple different types of ingredients, so you don't have to buy all the separate ingredients. And they've got really great flavor profiles. There are also, you can just buy kind of those big containers of any type of lettuce that you like. You can get the spring mix or the 50-50 blend, baby spinach, anything like that you like. And, maybe have a few ingredients on hand, such as, tomatoes, maybe sunflower seeds, some type of cheese that you enjoy on a salad, croutons. They make all kinds of fun salad toppers as well that are usually conveniently sold right next to the vegetable aisle. So those kinds of things, to just have them on hand to whip up and add to your meal, right? So you're not really cooking an extra thing. You're just kind of, making a salad maybe while the chicken or whatever you are cooking is baking. You're kind of pulling a salad together as well, but it doesn't feel like you're not chopping or having to do an excessive amount of work. Um, Other things that you can do is add, again, my good old friend spinach. Is a very kind of mild flavored vegetable that can be added into a lot of things. So you can add that into like pasta dishes or dishes. It wilts in very easily, so that you don't necessarily get a lot of alteration in texture or in taste, but it's there and it's still adding the same nutrition as it would be if it were raw. You can also do things like blend up vegetables. So if you are making like a tomato sauce or something like that, you can blend up some frozen carrots, and just add that, or peas or something like that, something that's kind of bland in flavor, and add that to the sauce. It's going to boost the nutrient content without really altering the taste of your sauce. Other great steals are, meal starter kits. So I know that they make, fajita starter kits and soup starter kits and things like that are all available in the frozen aisle. Those are really simple. Soups are another great way to get your veggies in, and there's really no way to go wrong. You kind of just throw in some garlic, some onions, whatever vegetables you have on hand, maybe a protein, maybe some rice or some pasta and some chicken stock, and you just let it all kind of simmer together until it tastes good. So that's, those are super easy ways to get soups together. They make all kinds of frozen starter kits to where you don't even have to chop up your own vegetables. If you prefer fresh vegetables, if you prefer the texture of them when they're cooked, you can certainly, there's also the pre-chopped ones in the fresh section of the vegetables as well. So those are just kind of some quick tips to get more fruits and vegetables into your life. So definitely things, smoothies is probably the easiest one, making sure that intentionally you have a fruit or a vegetable with every single meal. Packing your fruits and veggies as snacks, those can definitely be, if you know you're not going to get it with a meal, having some carrot sticks in the afternoon, if you know you're going out to dinner and it's going to be just pasta and very little vegetables. That's a great option. Even when you eat out, most restaurants, you don't have to order a salad as your meal. Most restaurants have vegetable options, even fast food. So I know Chick-fil-A in particular, Culver's is another one. They have steamed broccoli, they have side salads available. So those are kind of certainly options that even if you're eating on the go. And then most sit down restaurants are going to have, some type of steamed vegetable as an option, or a side salad as an option. You don't necessarily have to order a salad as your entree. You can order whatever you want as your entree. Just make sure one of your, say, two side options is a vegetable of some kind. Um, and then, canned fruits and vegetables, frozen fruits and vegetables are great adds to just about anything. Meal starter kits are super easy and super efficient. And then, if you are somebody who's looking into kind of a deeper dive into how to apply this into kind of your meal prep strategy, we do have a meal prep or a meal planning made easy digital course that is currently now available. So this is for anyone who, some of this resonates true, but you're kind of like, I just don't quite know how to put it into action. Check out that course. It's definitely for you. If you want more individualized tips, you can certainly click the link in my bio, and that will take you to my website where you can book a discovery call, and I can talk to you about our counseling services if that's something that you're interested in. But basically, if you were someone who is just basically tired of not knowing what to eat, or having to decide what to eat, or maybe what to eat, but you just don't quite have the tools to incorporate it into your lifestyle, that meal planning made easy digital course is for you. It is going to provide you with some basics in terms of how to plan your meals and not be stressed about it, right? It makes it very, very easy and very, very intuitive. And then once we've got that down, you're going to learn all kinds of different strategies strategies on how to practically make that happen, right? So it's kind of okay, now we know what to eat. How do we make it actually happen? And there's a wide variety of strategies from everything kind of like classic meal prep to eating out and eating on the go on a regular basis. So it really has a little bit of something for everybody, regardless of what your lifestyle is like. Even if your schedule changes or it's a bit chaotic at the moment, that course has something that's gonna help you. And it also kind of gives you a little bit of an insight to me and my practice and kind of how we approach nutrition. And certainly can give you a little bit of insight if you're one of those people who's like, I'm interested in working with a registered dietitian, but maybe I don't have the money for the individual counseling right now, but I want a little bit of guidance with my nutrition. That again, that meal planning made easy course is a really, really great kind of middle ground for you. So that is all I have for you. I will be recording another episode very similar to this one that talks about how to get your protein in. So stay tuned for that. And then, other than that, I all look forward to hearing from all of you. About how you liked this content. By all means, share it with your friends. Let me know what kinds of content you would like to see more of. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.